Welcome to our In the Money podcast. It's the last one for the spring racing meet at Keeneland. We'll still be doing our regular Saturday In the Money podcasts and a couple next week for Oaks and Derby Day. But we're taking a look at the Elkhorn Stakes, the final feature of the spring meet, plus the late pick four. And I'm Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's director of simulcasting, Jim Goodman. Let's go to the ninth race on Friday, Jim, and look at the Grade 2 Elkhorn. Full field, going 1.5 miles on the turf. Could you find any standout in here?
Well, it's kind of like Mike Battaglia when he made the morning line. Timarane's 5-1 and it's the favorite, and then a bunch of other horses are like 8-1. So Mike just threw up his hands and said, "I don't know." And I feel the same way. I mean, I can make a case for a lot of horses in here. I settled on Tricky Hat for Shug McGahee and Rosie Napravnik. Rosie has won 3 out of 8 with Shug this year, and the horse really looked good first time out at Keeneland, and it squeezed one more in here, and that was a very nice effort. Ran second to Boisterous on opening weekend, and they came back now and running in 2 weeks rest. The horse is 1-for-1 at the distance, and I think Tricky Hat is probably as good a bet as anybody in here. And you're going to get at least 6-1 on almost everybody. So I took Tricky Hat on top. Amen Kitten. Ramsey is cold, and I've said I'm not going to bet another Ramsey horse, but Wesley's trying to win the training title, so I think Amen Kitten, the 11, has a shot. I think Old Time Hockey has won 2 in a row at Tampa, and the Tampa horses have done well here. And Forte de Marmy is a horse that's kind of stuck on the outside, but has 2 wins at the distance, the only horse that has 2 wins in 1.5 miles. So I'm going to take Tricky Hat on top, and then I'm going to take 1, 11, 13, and also 14 War Dancer. War Dancer went off favored in the Grade 3 skip-away at Gulfstream, but wasn't his favorite surface. So I think back to the turf here, and I think he has a shot as well. But I think you can make a case for a lot of horses here. Tricky Hat's my pick, though. I
ended up picking a horse that you went through those and didn't mention, and that's Eagle Poise. Just kind of shows you what kind of race it is. This horse is a marathon specialist. 1.5 miles might even be short for him. Coming off a layoff, which I'm not wild about, but Solis comes in to ride this horse, and I thought, well, if they're just prepping the horse, they maybe use a local rider, but they're bringing Solis in. Motion can certainly get a horse ready off a layoff, even for this distance, and just this horse loves the marathon distances, and because of that and the price, I'm going to key on him and use him with Tamarane, Tricky Hat, Optimizer. I think I'd include in there. Just on his best day, he'd be good enough. And I'd use all of those, and probably War Dancer too in the pick fours. Let's go to the 7th race to start the late pick 4, and I ended up Fashion Fund was who I liked in here for Shug. Horse is coming off a layoff, but has a long stream of workouts. So I'm going to use him, but I also use Borbala, the 5, the 6 Hard Nights Day, and the 1 Ms. Lee. Then in the next race, Tap 21, I liked when it ran here earlier in the meet. It was a lifetime best performance. I think he can come back. He loves this track. But I'm also going to use the 4 Similu and the 5 Flashy Gal. And I'm going to use Eagle Poise, Tricky Hat, Tamarane, Optimizer, and War Dancer in the feature. And then in the last race, I'm going to use Poppy's Dream for McPeak. Could end up coming down, the trainer's title could end up coming down to that. So I'm going to take Poppy's Dream on a class drop to maybe win the training title. And the 6 Shakespearean Dream I would include also. If you want to shorten up the ticket, you could just single Poppy's Dream and take a shot there. What about you?
I'm going to single Poppy's Dream. I'm going to build my ticket from the back, so I am going to single Poppy's Dream. The horse just didn't run very well on the 13th of April, and Kenny brings it back on just 10 days rest or 11 days rest, and went off 3-1. It was really a kind of a tip horse around the track, dropping from maiden special weight to maiden 50. Didn't run very well that day, but I think fits this one really well. I'm going to single Poppy's Dream at the end of the ticket. So therefore, I'm going to go 6 deep in the first leg with 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 12. Actually, my best bet there is the 7, Sequoia for Tom Proctor. And I'm going to go 3, 4, 7, 9, 10 in the second leg, and as many as I can afford in the Dixie Elkhorn. And I actually wrote down 6 horses: 1, 2, 10, 11, 13, 14. And if you single Poppy's Dream in the end, I think that's a $90 ticket. So it's rather expensive, but I do like Poppy's Dream as well in the last race. So go deep early, and hopefully Kenny does win the last race. of the meet.
Yeah, that trainer's title is a hot battle. Looks like Le Peroux's got the riding title wrapped up for the spring meet. Best of luck on the final day of the spring meet with your wagers, and don't forget next week, if you're not going to the Derby, you can enjoy a Derby-like experience out at Keeneland. And you can find out more information at Keeneland.com. Also, out at the Kentucky Horse Center, they're having a special program on Friday and Saturday, simulcasting there for Oaks and Derby Day, and a special meal that they have planned. So lots of options here in Central Kentucky for Derby Day, and you can check them all out at Keeneland.com. And we will be back with our regular Saturday podcast, checking out the opening night stake at Churchill Downs in our next edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.